You're listening to the Money Mike Syndicated Radio Podcast. How we doing? How we doing? Caitlin Clark forces ESPN to drop baseball. That's right. You're going to hear it from me, Money Mike, on the Money Mike Show today. Caitlin Clark forces ESPN to drop baseball. That's the real truth right there, folks. Caitlin Clark has forced ESPN to drop baseball. Now, here's the deal: the ESPN is hemorrhaging money, and when you start looking at this collectively, and you look at it, and always go back to the CEO. Disney's a profitable company. ESPN used to be the flagship. ESPN went sideways on Caitlin Clark, and it really, realistically, it's going to cost some people some jobs. It's going to cost some people some jobs because ESPN is not making a profit, and when you're in there and you've got a, a entity that's under the umbrella, as Disney is a conglomerate, and you have something that's not making money, they're gonna cut the ties, and that's really what's been going down the entire time. And where did this all stem from? It all came from Caitlin Clark. That this is where it starts, ends, begin. Call it Wired Earp, call it whatever you want to call it, but Caitlin Clark, as you know, is going to cost people a lot of jobs because here's what you got to understand, and I'm going to lay it out. This is the Money Mike Syndicated Radio Podcast. We're powered up, brought to you Too Hot Radio under the umbrella of Roc Nation, covering the WNBA, NBA, NFL, and Oakland A's baseball. But here's the deal I want to tell you: Caitlin is changing the guard. You're either going to roll with us or you're going to be out. And that's what's going on. And ESPN thought they could do it another way, and it didn't work. And here's the deal: this is why. Stephen A. Smith says, I'm the boss. Okay, but the boss is not making any scalability over at ESPN. Now, here's the problem with that. Okay, it's two factors, and this is where the desperation came in, and this is where you're going to see the 180-degree turnaround with Caitlin Clark. There will not be an individual at ESPN from this day of dropping Major League Baseball going forward that will speak badly about Caitlin Clark. And here's why: because ESPN is a cable channel. And when you look at it from the standpoint of being a cable channel, okay, you've got to be able, okay, to maintain your subscriptions. And the way it works for cable TV is ESPN has been losing money for some time. And I don't think they can't stop the hemorrhaging because one, they're facing cord cutting. Obviously, have a lot of individuals, but two, under their cable services, to have ESPN costs you about $9 a month. And realistically, if nobody's watching ESPN or you don't have the shows that they want people to watch, or they don't like the commentators on there, they're gonna leave. And that's kind of what's happening. I mean, you got Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese. I mean, they're getting it done, but this political thing and the way they treated Caitlin Clark, I tell you what, this is karma coming right back like a boomerang, going to hit you right in the eyes because you don't have a choice. Now, here's the deal: when you get the Major League, ESPN wanted to lower the rights fee for for Major League Baseball. Now, Major League Baseball said, you know what, you could stick that in a sand. We got a product, and we know our product's good. And the problem is that at ESPN, and they're coming under the umbrella of Disney, they just are losing so much money that to give baseball extension, it's not even possible. This could get to the point where ESPN could eventually close the doors, folks. I'm telling you, this is how serious it is. Because when you get there in the cord cutting, and as I told you earlier, I worked for AT&T, 23 years national business markets. We purchased Direct TV with the NFL package, the Sunday ticket, for $67 billion. When we're done, we couldn't even give it away for $1 billion because there's so many subscribers that are signing off and going over to internet TV. So to be on TV today, you have to be really good. What happened to Skip Bayless? Nobody wants to watch that anymore because they've got so many other choices. And as I am myself, right here on YouTube, right? And YouTube is more building in to get authentic coverage of individuals that can cover the content. And they're seeing that there's more value that's coming in and having individuals sit there and give their personal beliefs. And it's a sad day today, ESPN, Major League Baseball. And folks, I'll tell you this fantasy baseball is extremely profitable. And when you look at that and you look at the WNBA now they got to go back and honor the entire WNBA. But when they go back and honor it, they got to honor one other person. You know who that is. That's going to be Caitlin Clark, right? They got to honor Caitlin Clark. And why do they got to honor Caitlin? Because Caitlin, as I started out and everybody repeated it, so I won't say it again. I call her the Golden Goose, right? The Golden Goose corporate enterprise marketing dream. If you're going against Caitlin Clark, she's at Michael Jordan status, Tiger Woods status. In the media, they're not going to let you get away with doing anything bad or any of your personal feelings. If you can't call the WNBA objectively, right? I want to bring this to you. If you can't call the WNBA objectively, then really ESPN doesn't really need you. And eventually, folks, I'll tell you the way this works, and I'm a little bit more advanced than most because I understand that you can track this, right? You can have people get an app and you can have them sign up for ESPN. And really, what ESPN needs to know is who are the people signing up for? Are they signing up for Stephen A? Are they signing up for Andrea? Who are they signing? Rebecca Lobo? Why are they coming? Because at the end of the day, you only want people on the air, okay, that has lots of viewership, lots of subscribers. And that's where Pat McAfee wins hands down because the NFL is a huge entity, and it's a conglomerate that controls the partners. And there's just no way they can continue. And at $8.80, and what will have to happen eventually, ESPN's going to have to raise the subscription fee. It could go to $10 to $12 a month. Well, when you have all the different options today, I mean, you got Hulu, you got Roku, you got Apple TV. There's so many other places to watch it. And this is where it talks. Some people talk about ratings and what the ratings are and what the radar. It's impossible to give a true visual of what the ratings are. And this one's going to hurt because Stephen A. Smith is in trying to get a new contract, but I don't know how a corporate, in my years of working in corporate America, I've never seen corporate America pay more for the talent, the incumbent talent that they have. Normally, the way that works, if Stephen A was going over to Fox would give him that to leave, but they already have him retained. So why would they give you more money when we're losing subscriptions and you're sitting at the head of the chair? This is a bad deal, folks. Nothing pretty is going to come out of this, but I'll tell you, this is the Money Mike Syndicated Radio podcast, and we only looked at it one way, and that's the way it's supposed to be looked at. Caitlin Clark is a corporate enterprise business dream. Whatever she touched turns to gold, and ESPN played with my name. And what Caitlin and the Indiana and the Iowa fans are saying, put some respect on my name like Birdman. And that's what happened at ESPN. It's going to be another shakeup. When they're giving the layoffs, that lets me know right away. Stephen A., you the boss. You're supposed to stop them subscriptions, but can't do it. Ain't no doubt about it. And I'll tell you this. You know what? Losing baseball, losing Ohtani, the number one drawing star, and that brings a lot of viewership, that's going to hurt. Robert Iger's got a Disney. He's got a duty and responsibility to shareholders. If they're not making a profit, then we need to get them out the door. That's the name of the game now. So you'll see a lot of people, that's right, going to speak so wonderfully of Caitlin Clark because they've been given the marching orders. Either you get with the program or you get out the door. That's what's going down at ESPN. I caught it a long time ago, and I told y'all what's the deal with ESPN. Why do they hate the Indiana Fever and Caitlin Clark so much? Now you're going to see so much apologizing. It's going to make your head spin. Always remember, this is the Money Mike Syndicated Radio podcast. We'll tell you it's our opinion, but if it turns the truth, we've given you the facts before it happened, and I saw this one miles ago. But keep it in mind, we're going to keep you tuned in. You tune in to the Money Mike Syndicated Radio podcast. We promise you one thing. It's my opinion, but if it turns the truth, I've given you the facts before it happened. And Money Mike's always going to give you the straight deal. We can't hide. We can't roll no punches. So when they try to do the cover-up, we'll find it. But the bottom line is ESPN is a sinking ship, and now they're putting all their marbles on Caitlin Clark to hold it together. We'll see what happens. This is the Money Mike Syndicated Radio podcast. And we'll tell you this. You keep tuning in. We'll keep getting better and better. We're going to go higher and higher. And we're going to finalize this thing as we get ready for round number 2 in the WNBA season. Got a big time draft coming up. Lots of movement. Let's see what happens.